This is Stories After 60, a space for voices, memories, and the quiet wisdom of growing older. A place where we explore how to live with more calm, joy, and meaning, one story at a time. There's something tender about the way time changes us. We notice it in the mirror, the fine lines that tell stories, the silver in our hair, the slower rhythm of our mornings. And sometimes we pause and wonder, can I slow this down? Can I still feel strong, light, and alive inside my own body? That question, whispered by so many after 60, isn't really about vanity. It's about staying connected to life, to energy, to the small joys that make each day worth waking up for. And while there's no magic pill, nature itself seems to have left us clues in the colors of fruits, the aroma of herbs, the crunch of nuts, the warmth of tea. Each bite can either nourish or drain us. Each meal is a quiet conversation with ourselves. In our younger years, food was often about convenience, taste, or social gatherings. But as we grow older, food becomes something else. It becomes care. It becomes the bridge between our body and our spirit. And today, we'll explore that bridge to understand how certain foods can naturally slow down aging, not by denying time, but by walking gracefully alongside it. Think of this not as a diet, but as a relationship with what the earth gives us, the colors, the scents, the quiet gifts that have sustained life for centuries. Because aging, after all, is not a battle to win. It's an art to practice with nourishment, gratitude, and gentle awareness. So let's begin. Let's walk through the kitchen of longevity, not the one filled with fancy supplements or miracle drinks, but the one rooted in real food, mindful choices, and stories from lives well lived. In the next part, we'll discover what science says about why we age and how the simplest meals can make a difference that feels almost magical. 2. The science of aging gracefully. There's a quiet beauty in understanding how our bodies change with time. Science, in many ways, has simply confirmed what our grandparents always knew, that the way we eat, breathe, and rest all shape how we age. When we reach our 60s, our bodies are not breaking down. They are simply shifting focus from constant growth to gentle preservation. Our metabolism slows. Cells repair themselves a bit more slowly. Inflammation, once a tool for healing, can start to linger quietly in the background. But here's the wonderful news. We have influence. Food isn't just fuel, it's communication. Every nutrient we eat speaks directly to our cells. It can tell them to heal faster, to reduce inflammation, to protect our brain, to keep our heart young. The invisible clock inside us, sometimes call it the biological clock, a rhythm that ticks within every cell. When oxidative stress builds up, from pollution, poor diet, or emotional stress, this clock starts to run faster, wearing down our body's tissues. But antioxidants, the natural compounds found in colorful fruits and vegetables, help slow this ticking. They protect our cells like gentle guardians, restoring balance quietly, meal by meal. Imagine blueberries, small, ordinary, yet filled with anthocyanins, tiny molecules that neutralize the damage caused by daily living. Or think of leafy greens, rich in chlorophyll and folate, feeding our mitochondria, the little engines that keep us moving. Each of these is a small act of repair, a way to whisper to our body, you can rest, you can heal, you are cared for. The heart, the brain, and the gut, the trio of longevity. What surprises many people over 60 is how connected everything is. The heart depends on the gut shapes the brain, and the brain influences every heartbeat and breath. When our gut is healthy, nourished with fiber, probiotics, and whole foods, as it communicates calm to the brain. That calm reduces stress hormones, which lowers inflammation, which helps the heart stay steady and strong. That's why foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, or even a spoonful of apple cider vinegar in warm water can become small daily rituals of balance. And on days when loneliness or anxiety weigh heavy, a cup of green tea can work wonders not only for the body, but for the spirit. The amino acid L-theanine inside it gently soothes the nervous system, helping us sleep better and think clearer. Aging gracefully isn't about looking young. In the culture we live in, aging is often treated as something to fix, something to hide, correct, or fight. But real science and real wisdom tells another story. The healthiest older adults aren't chasing youth. They're cultivating resilience. They're eating in ways that reduce inflammation, improve energy, and support emotional balance. When your body feels nourished, your spirit feels lighter. And that, more than any wrinkle cream or supplement, is what keeps you radiant. A simple truth. Aging gracefully is not about how many years we've lived. It's about how well our body still listens to us. And food, more than anything else, helps that communication stay clear and kind. The secret is not in restriction, but in rhythm. Eating when you're calm, chewing slowly, savoring colors, and treating every meal as a moment of gratitude. So now that we understand why what we eat matters, let's explore what to eat. The everyday foods that can slow down aging naturally without complicated diets or expensive products. Just nature, wisdom, and the warmth of a well-cooked meal. 3. The 7 foods that help you age slowly. If you've lived long enough, you know that food is never just food. It's comfort on a quiet morning, a memory shared with someone we love, a connection between our body and the earth that made it. But what if the same simple meals we enjoy could also help us stay strong, clear-minded, and alive for years to come? Science now shows us they can. Let's explore 7 foods that gently, naturally help us age slowly, not by chasing youth, but by nourishing life from within. 1. Blueberries, tiny guardians of the mind. They call them brainberries, and for good reason. Blueberries are packed with antioxidants called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These tiny molecules protect our brain cells from oxidative stress, which is one of the main causes of cognitive decline. Researchers at Harvard found that people who eat a handful of blueberries 2 to 3 times a week can delay memory aging by up to 2.5 years. Think about that. Something so small, yet so powerful. Add them to your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or just enjoy them fresh. Each bite is like sending your brain a love letter. Stay sharp, stay curious. 2. Leafy greens. The quiet fuel for every cell. Spinach, kale, collard greens, arugula. These are the unsung heroes of vitality. They're rich in folate, vitamin K, and lutein, nutrients that support everything from bone health to vision to heart function. In one long-term study from Rush University, older adults who ate 1 serving of leafy greens per day had the cognitive health of someone 11 years younger than their actual age. And the beauty of it, it doesn't take much. Just a small salad with olive oil and lemon, or a bowl of steamed spinach beside your dinner, and your body begins to thank you quietly. 3. Olive oil, liquid gold for longevity. If there's one secret from the Mediterranean diet that the world agrees on, it's olive oil. Pure, cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil is rich in polyphenols, natural plant compounds that protect blood vessels, lower inflammation, and support the heart. But beyond science, there's something soulful about olive oil. The act of drizzling it gently over bread or salad feels almost ceremonial, a reminder that nourishment can also be an act of gratitude. 1 tablespoon a day, that's all it takes to keep your inner engine running smoothly. 4. Beans and lentils, the humble source of strength. In almost every blue zone, the regions where people live the longest, you'll find one thing in common: beans. Black beans in Costa Rica, chickpeas in Greece, lentils in Japan. These foods are high in fiber and plant protein, keeping blood sugar steady, supporting gut health, and reducing inflammation. And they're affordable, simple, and comforting. A bowl of lentil soup, warm and earthy, feels like coming home to yourself. You can almost hear your grandmother whisper, "Eat slow and take care of your heart." 5. Green tea, calm energy for the soul. There's a reason monks in Asia have sipped green tea for centuries. It contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes relaxation without drowsiness, and catechins, antioxidants that support metabolism and heart health. A cup of green tea in the afternoon steadies the mind and brings a gentle clarity. And the ritual itself, heating the water, pouring slowly, waiting to teach a patience. It reminds us that slowing down is part of the art of living long. 6. Tomatoes, nature's protection against time. Tomatoes are one of nature's most generous gifts. Their bright red color comes from lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to protect the skin and heart. Interestingly, cooked tomatoes, like those in soups, sauces, or roasted dishes, release even more lycopene than raw ones. That means your Sunday pasta sauce or warm bowl of tomato soup is more than comfort food. It's self-care. Drizzle it with olive oil, and the healthy fats help your body absorb lycopene even better. Simple, delicious, and deeply nourishing. 7. Nuts. The small things that keep you strong. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios. These little powerhouses are full of healthy fats, protein, and magnesium. They support heart health, brain function, and even joint flexibility. A study from Spain found that people who eat a handful of nuts daily had a 20% lower risk of premature death from all causes. But maybe the real power of nuts lies in the ritual, the quiet moment in the afternoon when you reach for a handful instead of something processed or sweet. That small choice, repeated every day, is how health is built. The bigger picture. These 7 foods aren't miracles, they're messages. They tell us that aging well isn't about perfection. It's about patterns of care, repeated over time. It's about turning meals into moments of mindfulness. It's about remembering that what you feed your body, you also feed your soul. And when you begin to eat not from fear of aging, but from love for living, everything starts to change. Now that we've explored these powerful foods, let's look at something just as important: how the way we eat affects the way we feel. Because slowing down aging isn't only about what's on the plate, but how we connect to it moment by moment. 4. The mindful connection between food and emotion. There's something beautiful about the way food and emotion are intertwined. We don't just eat to live. We eat to remember, to comfort, to feel connected. A bowl of soup can taste like childhood. A cup of tea can carry the memory of someone we miss. And a shared meal, even a simple one, can make us feel less alone in the world. As we age, food becomes more than nutrition. It becomes a form of emotional nourishment, a daily act of care, both for ourselves and for others. Eating slowly, living fully. In our fast-moving world, eating has become something we rush through. We scroll through our phones, stand by the counter, or eat while watching television, barely noticing the taste of what we put into our bodies. But when we slow down, something shifts. When we sit quietly, look at our food, breathe before the first bite, we start to feel gratitude. We notice the colors, the aroma, the warmth, and that gratitude changes everything. Studies have shown that people who practice mindful eating, simply being present with their food, digest better, eat less, and experience lower levels of stress. Their hearts slow down. Their bodies absorb nutrients more effectively. Their minds feel calmer. It's as if the body listens better when the mind is quiet. The emotional chemistry of food. Our emotions literally change how we digest. When we eat in a state of anxiety or sadness, the body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone, which slows down digestion and increases inflammation. But when we eat in peace, when we give ourselves time to enjoy and breathe, our parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system, takes over. It tells the body, you are safe. You can heal now. That's why a meal shared with laughter feels different from one eaten in silence or tension. The body knows. It always knows. So perhaps slowing aging isn't only about the antioxidants in berries or the omega-3s in fish, but also about the joy and calm that surround them. Food is a form of self-love. For many people after 60, appetite changes. Some lose interest in cooking for themselves, especially after a loss or when living alone. But this is where one of life's quiet lessons appears. Self-care is not selfish. Cooking for yourself, preparing something nourishing, even setting the table for one, is a declaration that you still matter. You are still worth the effort, the flavor, the warmth. Making yourself a simple, beautiful meal, a bowl of soup, a slice of avocado toast, a handful of berries, is not about luxury. It's about dignity. It's about love. Because every act of nourishment says, I am still here. I still care for this body that carries me through life. The connection beyond the plate. Food connects us not just to our own bodies, but to time itself. It carries memory. The smell of cinnamon might bring back your mother's kitchen. The taste of bread might remind you of a Sunday long ago. And in those moments, the years disappear. We are no longer 60 or 70. We are simply human, feeling the same warmth, love, and comfort we always have. This is the real secret to youth, not denying age, but continuing to feel alive within it. Because every meal eaten with presence, every moment tasted fully, is a moment of renewal, a moment of reflection. So tonight, when you sit down to eat, turn off the noise, light the candle, breathe deeply, look at your food and whisper a quiet thank you for the hands that grew it, for the life that allows you to enjoy it, for the simple miracle that you're still here, still learning, still feeling. Because aging gracefully begins in these small, sacred moments, when nourishment becomes gratitude, and gratitude becomes peace. Now that we've walked through the science, the foods, and the emotions that shape healthy aging, let's bring it all together with a final reflection on what it truly means to grow older with grace, gratitude, and joy. Born to aging with gratitude and peace, there's a quiet moment at the end of every day when the dishes are done, the house is still, and the night settles softly around us. It's in that stillness that we begin to hear what our bodies have been whispering all along. Thank you. Thank you for the food, for the rest, for another day lived. And thank you for finally learning what youth never taught, that health isn't about perfection, it's about peace, the true meaning of nourishment. As we grow older, the word nourishment takes on a deeper meaning. It's not only about vitamins or calories, it's about how we treat ourselves, with patience, kindness, and curiosity. It's about the conversations we have with our bodies, the promises we keep to take care of them even when no one is watching. Nourishment is a form of respect. It's a daily thank you to the body that's carried us through laughter, through loss, through decades of living. And that gratitude, quiet, consistent, and real, is what keeps us truly young. Aging is not the end of growth. Somewhere along the way, society taught us that aging is about decline. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, our skin changes. Our joints ache a little more. But our hearts, they grow deeper. Our minds, they grow wiser. And our capacity for love, forgiveness, and joy, it expands beyond measure. In fact, aging is one of life's most sacred transformations. It's the stage where we no longer chase, we become. We begin to live with intention, to savor what really matters, and to let go of what never did. That too is nourishment, not for the body, but for the soul. The circle of care. When we choose to care for our bodies through good food, rest, and peace, we also care for those around us. Our energy changes. We smile more easily. We share warmth instead of worry. That's how healing spreads, quietly, gently, from one person to another. It starts with one meal, one choice, one act of love. And if you've reached 60, 70, or beyond, you've already lived enough to know that the smallest things often make the biggest difference. A gentle reminder. So as this story closes, let this thought stay with you. Aging well is not about how many years we can add to life, but how much life we can add to our years. Every piece of fruit, every mindful meal, every sip of tea is a way of saying yes to the days still ahead. Yes to energy, yes to clarity, yes to peace. And when you look in the mirror tomorrow morning, may you see not the years behind you, but the strength, the grace, and the light that have carried you this far. Because you are not getting old, you are becoming whole. This has been Stories After 60, a gentle space to remember that growing older is not a loss, but a return to wisdom, to gratitude, to peace. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone you love. Because stories like these, about care, kindness, and hope, are what keep our world a little softer. Thank you for listening. May your days be calm, your meals be nourishing, and your nights be peaceful. This is Stories After 60, where every story reminds us that life after 60 is still beautifully alive.